All right, we are live on live today on LinkedIn, YouTube, and our Twitch channel. Woo!
Woo. We
Welcome
didn't
to
plan that.
connecting. Yeah, welcome to connecting in the clouds. So with me, I got our usual hostesses with me, Shannon and Amy,
I say
and
misfits.
misfits.
That works. I'm good with that.
The three misfits on connecting with the clouds, and then with us today as our special guest is Shabaz Darr from over in the UK. Welcome, Shabaz. Great to
Hello,
have you.
thank you. Thank you, appreciate it. Hope you're all well.
We're doing well, and as many of you may know Shabaz as I am IT Geek, his great YouTube channel, as we're showing for everybody. I know myself and Shannon have worked with him on his channel before and done some things with him. Really great advocate for training and enablement on his channel. So welcome, Shabaz. You want to tell a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Shabaz Darr. I'm based out of the UK, if you cannot tell by the accent. Not specifically the north of the UK. So I'm currently, so yeah, this job title's a bit weird, but I'm a master is my job title.
Nice.
Yeah. It's not one I chose. I think it's a Danish name. It's a Danish choice. But yeah, we're a company called Net Company. So my main focus is around Azure Infrastructure as a Service, Azure AD as well, and Azure Virtual Desktop, and some security as well around Microsoft 365. So that's kind of what my sort of area is of expertise. I kind of try and stay in that wheel arc with for my content as well. As you mentioned, I do my YouTube channel where I do just try and share content really.
Now, as a master, do they give you a Jedi sword, Jedi saber or anything? Cool.
I walk around and I've got a robe.
You got a cloak. Got the cloak.
That's my
Force away.
that's my own personal bathrobe that I use. I've always been uncomfortable with the job title. It's great, don't get me wrong. It's nice to refer to as that, but it's just I find it pretentious. But it's always a good conversation starter. It's a great conversation starter when, especially with clients, when you talk about you say, "Oh yeah, I'm a master," and they just same reaction. Everyone has a smirk on their face.
Did you give yourself that title, right? One of those kind of looks? No, one of those kind of looks from the clients and everything, right?
The way when I introduce it, so this is not my choice, but my job title is a master, and I always say that.
It's not my choice. All supreme master.
Problem is, where do I go from there? Where do I
master
go
of the cloud,
right?
Yeah.
Master IT Geek, right?
I tell you what, that might be a good idea for a podcast name. That Master of the Cloud.
Ooh, setting the bar high.
Excellent.
So yeah, I mean, so what have you been up to, Shabaz? I know we talked a little bit when we were getting you on here, and what is the outlook for I Am IT Geek? What do you got? I know we've done the SC 300. I think you just finished up the AZ 700 on your channel as well. So what do you got going on? What's on the horizon?
So I need to fit. I started off a Microsoft Entra series that I was doing, and that was kind of, as I said, I've partnered with yourself, Dwayne. Obviously, Shannon. We did the Azure VMware Solutions one last year.
Yeah, and we did identity governance as well.
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
So and again, I worked with a chap called Mohammed Sajid on the AZ 700, and I kind of wanted to just go alone for a series, I suppose, and just have a bit of content where it's just me. So I did the Entra one. I've just got to put the finishing touches to that. I've got some personal stuff that's going on, which we were talking about offline, which obviously I'm not going to talk about quite yet. But just to tease everybody. But so I've not really done much at the moment in the last couple of weeks. But to answer your question, my plan is I've done a lot of technical content on my channel, various services. And what I got the idea from a few people in the community actually. So people are doing more personal stuff, a little bit about. So some people have done stuff about how they became a Microsoft MVP. Others have just done, so I've kind of decided to document and talk about my journey in IT from when I first graduated, all those many years ago, all the way up to now, and what I hope is that'll show or help people who are also coming up about, you know, the experiences I had and how I overcame certain issues, and what I did to kind of, I say, move up the ranks of IT and become a Microsoft MVP, you know, all that sort of stuff. So the full journey. So that'll be a bit of a longer series, again, short videos, just to share some of my personal journey. I don't do a lot of personal stuff on social media, really. So I think it'd be nice to change it up a little bit and do some non-technical content.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we just had Peter Rising on the last episode, and he's kind of been doing some of that similar stuff that you've probably seen.
And it was Peter, exactly. Peter was one of them. I saw he did a video on becoming a Microsoft MVP, and that's where I got the idea. I thought, oh, you know what, that's really good. It's more personal. It's less technical, really. It's a more personal story about how he became it. So I think sharing, because look, at the end of the day, I know we're all in tech and we all have similar skills, and a lot of people have different skills, but what makes us different is our own journeys, our own personalities,
Right.
Our own path that we took. And, you know, I'm sure we might have had similar issues as we were coming up, but we might have also had different ones. Again, Amy and Shannon, I'm sure you had issues being a woman in IT coming up and coming up the ranks.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't. Does that count?
Me personally, being ethnic minority in the UK throughout the years has caused challenges, and it's just, I think, you know, I'm hoping other Asian people within the UK, when they see my journey and how I overcame things, that they get some hope from that and use those to help them through it as well. So that's kind of why I'm doing it. Sure. It's more helping people in another way rather than technical.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
like seeing something they can relate to.
That's what I was just going to mirror that. I was like, I keep getting feedback that folks do like the stories, right? We always think that we should be talking technical and we should be talking about the new feature, service, whatever. But sometimes people really like to connect. And I think that's something that has lent itself well. I don't know if it was something that really wound up getting highlighted even more with greater detail during the pandemic, but it's something that I keep hearing, you know, because people have followed some of my stories and people think it's just hilarious that, like, I didn't even think I was going to be technical. Like, if you would have told me at 18 that I'd be where I am now, I'd be like, whatever, that's not true. That's not going to be it at all.
And I think, especially with younger people, you know, again, I was the same. Like, you sometimes think, oh, am I doing the right thing by learning and what I'm doing now? And like, again, this might be the same for some of you guys as well, but, you know, I started doing on-premises stuff. I was a network specialist. I was doing my CCNA and I was qualified and all that sort of stuff. So to come from there to the cloud, how did that happen? How did that transition happen? I think telling that story will hopefully help other people that are, you know, thinking, oh, I want to get into cloud, but is it going to be a difficult transition or not? And, you know, how would other people do it? So that's kind of what I'm hoping people will gain from it.
Well, right.
Yeah, I started pulling coax, twinax, and voice cable. That's how my life started, and I didn't want to get into IT at all. So
surprise.
So I'm looking to, you know, still working on my exit strategy like 34 years later.
Right, still pulling cable, right? No, I find it interesting though. Like, a lot of college graduates now, they've never touched any of that, and like, how do you go into cloud not really knowing like how a server's racked and like get that understanding without that hands-on experience? I think it's pretty interesting to me, like how it's going to translate for the future. You know, 'cause you still need infrastructure.
I just finished up teaching an intro to cybersecurity class to a bunch of high schoolers this year. Wow. Like 35 high schoolers, and it was fun. You know, I mean, there was, you know, they were taking it as an elective, so it was, you know, about 10% of the class was actually engaged, but the ones that were engaged like asked very good questions, like, how do I get into this? You know, what's the path? And like, you know, we actually gave you know, it was a Certiport exam they gave the last week of class that got them a badge. It's actually Cisco bought the program, so they're getting an actual Cisco cert coming out of high school.
Wow.
So awesome. It's kind of
that's
really,
kind of cool, because those are usually pretty pricey. You know, if you think about starting your IT career, those CCNA certs weren't cheap.
Oh, God.
It wasn't CCNA. It was it's certified technician, IT technician, through Cisco
Oh,
with
okay.
cyber, from a
Got
cybersecurity
it.
perspective, which
Still
was
great.
it was kind of cool. Yeah, it was really cool. And really cool program. Microsoft funds it completely for the school district. It's their TEALS program. So yeah, it's really, really cool. I got involved in teaching. I'll probably do it and already volunteered to do again next year. And they kind of, what they do is you act as a SME and a mentor for like a 3-year stint with the general ed teacher to kind of train the trainer and mentor them to be able to teach the class the 3rd year solo. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Very cool.
The thing is as well, I try not to have any regrets in my life, and up until now, I don't think I have any regrets, so to speak. But that doesn't mean there's not certain things I would do differently if I could do it over again. So again, I want to hopefully through this series that I do, kind of say to people, this is how I did it, but this is how maybe I if I could do it again, I'd probably do it. And just on that subject of yours, Dwayne, it sounds similar to an apprentice. We have apprenticeships in the UK where young people can straight out of school, so they don't go on to do their A levels, they do GCSEs, and after that they can start working, but learning as well. So doing specific qualifications that's focused on IT, and you work in an IT department like support level, so they're getting experience and qualifications like the Cisco, like the Microsoft fundamentals, getting paid for it as well. And I wish I'd have taken that route. That if I do it again, that's what.
Yeah, I know you've done some really cool stuff with local military groups as well. Have you continued to do that, or is that kind of slowed down a little bit? But I know you were doing some great stuff with that as well. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean that's been through Netcompany actually. So Netcompany have a program with a company called Tech Vets. And what the Tech Vets is focused on is people within the military who have been in the military, but they want to transition into, call it civilian life, I think is the correct term for it.
Yeah.
So they're literally coming out of, and even though they have a lot of experience generally, within the military, they might not have so to speak soft skills, but they might have done some sort of role in the military that kind of is aligned to IT. So yeah, we run, and again, because I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, that allows me to run courses. And there's a group of MCTs, about eight to nine of us within Netcompany, and we run courses for them every month. So we do, and I'm not the only one. I've done, obviously. I kind of started it off, I suppose, and was like the first MCT at Netcompany. I brought others on, but yeah, we do like all the fundamental levels. So SC 900, MS 900, and AZ 900. We also have a group of non-MCTs that are qualified to teach Office soft skills as well. So Word, Excel, and that's actually for veterans, so people who used to be in the forces, their family members, so their wives, etc., who are also coming back into sort of that civilian life. Because I suppose, I mean, I have no experience in myself, but it seems like if you've got someone who's in the forces, the whole family's in the forces. Literally,
you're right.
It feels like that.
It's true. It's true. My dad was a 40-year military guy, and he tried to get all of his daughters in, and none of us were interested. In fact, we just pitched a fit. We were like, nope, we will not do it. But and it's crazy because I've been going back and looking at my family history. There's so many people who served in my family over the course of time, like Revolutionary War, the Civil War, right? World War I, World War II. I'm like, oh my God, I guess it's a big part of our family. I didn't even realize it because we only have the frame of reference for what we experienced. But it's been interesting to kind of go back and look at how much military shows up in my family. I have a ton of knights even in my family. I'm like, whoa.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
Don't fight with Shannon.
I
You're
mean,
talking about
I'm not really a
Shabaz's
fighter.
lightsabers. You've got like
Yeah,
big
right?
giant swords
Yeah,
and
right?
everything.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because like we even went so far back on one side of the family to realize there was like an earl. And like I've got some distant ties to Grover Cleveland, one of the presidents of the United States, William Taft. It's interesting.
Wow.
So ancestry has been fun, but it's one of those things I kind of wish I would have done a little bit earlier because I don't have enough time to go into it. I've been a little time constrained right now.
I'll have to start calling you the Earl of Shannon.
You should. You should. Well, and I read this whole thing when I was getting this aligned, and Shabaz, you'll get a kick out of this. Anybody that has any British history related to their lineage, the record keeping that the Brits did many, 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 many centuries ago, it's way better than a lot of other countries, is what it seems to be. And I think it's just the Brits love to keep track of everything. So
you gotta make sure everybody knows their station, right?
Exactly, right?
That's hilarious.
I did want to bring up something. So I have a friend of mine from Nebraska, and we were talking about soft skills. And she's like, I really wish we wouldn't call it soft skills. They're probably some of the hardest skills to learn. And as an engineer, I have always had to work with engineers who sort of lacked that, right? And it's not an easy reality to read a room, to read a person, to gel with personalities, especially if they are somewhat different than you. Shabaz, is there anything that you would add into the mix there? Because it was an interesting perspective from her, because I was like, wait a minute, no, they're just called soft skills. They're not really soft skills. Like, is there anything that you hope to showcase inside of your journey to becoming an MVP that talk about it? I know you said that your company is focused on it, which I think is awesome. And I think more companies should do that. But I didn't know if you would, ever go down that path and talk a little bit about, some of the soft skills that you've had to learn and the ways in which you've had to adapt, right? Because you're working with customers all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, so I've always been an outgoing person in my personality. When I meet people, I'm quite chatty and I'll ask questions. But when a group of people, I've traditionally been quite nervous. Even now, when I'm presenting like a conference thing, my back sweats like mad. Sorry if that's a bit vulgar, but I get a really bad back sweat. And in general, I still feel those nerves. But I feel it's more of a confidence thing, really. And it's like anything, repetition. The more you do it, the more confident you get at it. I was very lucky. And we spoke about the pandemic earlier. I was very lucky in the fact that my community journey, my presentation sort of journey, mainly started during COVID. So I was able to do stuff like this virtual, where you can't necessarily see everyone's eyes. You don't see people walking out. You don't see people on the mobile. And that really helped me gain confidence and get a presenting style. And again, like you said, I think there's certain key moments within my career where stuff clicked, and I think I will obviously talk about those. It's interesting what you say about soft skills. You're right; it is probably some of the hardest.
Some of the hardest skills to learn.
Well, yeah, even just reading a room,
especially if you're not natural. Some people have a natural ability to present and read a room and engage a room, but if you don't have that natural ability, it's and I honestly think it's just practice, repeating it.
I agree.
It's funny. My daughter did theater from time. I mean, she always got up on stage from the time she was like 6 years old. But it's the complete opposite to like what you pointed out, Shabazz. The one-to-one skill of having a conversation with a stranger terrifies her.
That's my son as well.
yet she'll get up in front of a stage of 500 people and belt out a tune,
right?
With the utmost confidence. And I'm like, you have a skill that I worked on for years. I couldn't get in.
And you're probably still working on, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like Shabazz said, I've conferences that I spoke at prior to doing virtual conferences in COVID, I was a mess. And like you said, I similar thing, Shabazz. Me and you, I think, kind of hit the virtual circuit, so to speak, at about the same time in terms of becoming an MVP and all of that and getting involved in the community. This forum was much more comfortable to me for, and like you said, it helps you refine your art and makes you a lot more comfortable, getting in front of people as well, because I'm the same way, even like in like a group, like, I'm going to Reinforce next week and being, and just approaching people in a big group type of setting, a room is still very uncomfortable to me.
See, I'm the opposite. I'd rather not talk into a camera. I'd rather like once I presented like at Ignite, I'm like, this is way better. Oh my god! Then talking to a camera and not being able to see. That surprises
me so much, Amy. You seem so introverted.
I actually am an introvert.
She's like an extroverted introvert. I'm the definitive extrovert. Like the pandemic messed me up. My wife was always like, "Have you not talked to anybody today on camera? I think you should go talk to somebody on camera." She's the introverted extrovert, right? Or the extroverted introvert, maybe is a better way of saying it. And she got to the point where she was like, I think you need to go turn on your video and talk to you at work or something, because you're a lot right now. So I love to talk to people. I that's where I get like all of my energy. And we never got to do that during the pandemic the way that I wanted to. So it's nice to sort of see people again. I switched roles. So, there's talks of some travel coming up here, and it's nice to actually see people, and people are coming to the Chicago office for me to meet, and it's awesome to finally be in the same room as other people, so it's great to be on this side of the pandemic, I think.
Yes.
I've said this to a few people actually within Net Company the last few days, but so I was in Edinburgh the last couple of days doing a client workshop, and the amount we've got done compared to what we would have got done on a virtual was just it was can't compare it. I think virtual still has a place, and the pandemic obviously it brought that to the forefront. But I just don't feel like it's ever going to be able to replace in person
100%
discussions, meetings, conferences.
Whiteboarding.
Whiteboarding. I love that, and that's exactly what we did. And it's just so much better, and you get so much. Even the conversations. Oh, let's go for a coffee. Those conversations that you're having during they're still so useful. And like, okay, you go out for dinner in the evening. Those conversations, and there's so much you gain from that. So I'm a massive fan as well, like you, Amy, around in-person things in general.
I know people seem to forget that part, but even that water cooler chat where an idea could be sparked, versus you're sitting at home. Yeah, it's great to work from home, but in person, nothing can beat that.
No, 100%.
I saw teams develop the water cooler chat methodology during the pandemic. Yeah. And then that was kind of a fun thing to see, but it's still, it's not the same. So different. It was sort of like it would be if you were in the office.
Meet to chat.
Right. And that was where like the off the kind of cuff conversations happened. The funnier, did you see the show? Did you notice this thing on, Wired or what? You know what I mean? That's where like more the organic conversations, the team building stuff happened. But like it was always even before the pandemic when I was working at Microsoft and I was on that national team. And so, we would love the internal events where we would all be in the same spot. But it was hard. It was hard because we all were spread all over America. So.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to look forward to events to see your team.
Right.
Well, that's me next week. I'm meeting like 10 people that I've never met in person before.
Oh wow,
that'll be fun.
Been in my role for close to a year now.
Yeah. Is it in Anaheim, California? Is that where
it is?
Reinforces? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, cool.
The weather should be nice, hopefully.
We have our annual Net Company summer party, they call it. So they have two gatherings, UK gatherings a year. They have the Christmas party, and now they have the summer party. So we go to like one location. So this is in the Midlands in Birmingham, near Birmingham, and literally people from all over the UK are going to be coming, and it's just an event. It's just there's different events on. Like there's a silent disco on. There's a movie theater where they're going to watch Top Gun Maverick.
Yes. Oh, nice.
There's all sorts of stuff like that going on.
That's awesome.
That sounds fun.
Looking forward to that.
That's great. Yeah,
so my company had our cyber security summit, which is like our own internal conference. We bring in partners and things like that in France in May or late April, but I couldn't I wasn't able to travel for that. So this is my first opportunity since like I went to AWS Summit in New York last summer to get somewhere and see some people.
Yeah, things are getting back to what it was like in, I guess, 2019. Sure. That was probably the last time all of us were traveling pretty regularly,
Yeah.
So who knew that was going to be the last time where you're like, I miss 2019. I mean, it was an okay year. It wasn't like nothing exciting, but then 2020 was terrible. So I guess that was the last awesome year that we had. So we're starting to get back to that. I think the working world has been forever changed. I'm seeing a lot more hybrid roles too. So my role's hybrid. I only go into the office a couple of days a week, and sometimes that turns into just one day a week, which is totally fine too. But there's still, a day a week usually that, all of us are in the office working together. Yeah. So
that's good. Yeah.
That's my daughter's doing an internship at Blue Cross, and she's working 5 days a week, but she's only required to go down to Detroit 2 days.
Oh.
So
how far is that drive?
It depends on traffic. It's about it's only like 30 miles from us, but it takes an hour to more hour to hour 15
I was
because
gonna say,
there's construction on every road in Michigan right now.
yeah,
So
it's that way in Illinois too. I feel like they all kind of
Midwest.
borrow.
they like
Yeah,
work on
it's the
everyone.
Midwest
Yeah,
way.
it's like they do a major project on a interstate, and then they decide to do
All at the same
patchwork
time.
on all of the alternate routes.
Yeah.
So you're really proper screwed.
It's really well done planning.
Yeah,
It's-
Shabazz,
yeah.
how much driving do you actually do in the UK? Aren't you usually on trains more often than driving?
I started doing more driving. Sorry, trains. I have started doing more trains now. Even to
Nice.
so I live in a place called Bradford, which is right next to Leeds, which is where my office is. And even that's become a chore. There's so much roadworks, and I mean, you guys probably hear around the issues we have with trains as well in the UK. They have they're always striking at the moment, so travel in general is difficult. But yeah, I try and do trains where I can, just because there's just traffic and roadworks and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you could work on the train or chill and
Take a nap.
yeah,
a nap?
take a nap.
Exactly. But yeah, I used to prefer driving, if I'm honest. Just especially long distances. But again, since like the last 6 months, I'd say it's changed a bit because just traffic and roadworks are a nightmare in the UK.
Yeah.
Now, do you think more and more people are going into the office? Some of the reason why the traffic has gotten worse, or is that just something that you've just noticed?
No, definitely the amount of cars in the UK has increased 100%.
Okay.
There's a lot more people driving now, and going into the office.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like. I think you mentioned Shan hybrid. We have a hybrid sort of thing at the moment in that company as well. And you go into the office a couple of days a week. It breaks up the week so nicely.
It does.
You can have a couple of days at home and then go to the office, and then maybe maybe not 2 days in a row, but have a break in between. And
Yeah.
just like I said, seeing people getting out of your your sort of little office where you're kind of on your own. It's nice. I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's nice. I know I need an office. I don't know. Maybe I'll crash the head office and see you, Shannon.
You should. Yeah. So I work for Amy's husband. And so it's been funny. Like the people in Chicago, we all kind of know each other. We've all kind of worked for each other or worked like with people that, know other people. And so I work for Amy's husband right now, which has been fun. And it's been hilarious.
We're a power
because
couple.
They've had, right? I guess. I think, what did you say? You're like, you're going to be Nick's work wife, or maybe Nick's going to be your work wife. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's 2023. That was the text I got from Amy, and it totally just made my day the day I started. Yeah, it's been fun because they've been going through a lot of construction at home, and we've realized how good Teams noise suppression is. So Nick will say things like, "I can't hear you. Hang on," and we can hear it clear as day, but he can't hear us because of the construction. And I'm like, wow, well, that's a good one for Teams. I didn't know the noise suppression was
Teams
it's really great.
They were putting cabinets in behind me, and I'm like, "You guys can hear me, like, and you're not hearing anything. I don't need to mute."
Not hearing a
I'm
thing.
like, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always fun to be on webinars and record when you have like house construction, and I'm like, I was bouncing from the library to neighbors' houses to.
Yeah, there was one phone call I had with Nick where he was in his Tesla charging his Tesla, and he was like taking the phone call, and I'm like,
Oh, because he got kicked out of the
what's that
library.
like? Yeah, because you guys got kicked out of the library. You guys weren't allowed to stay in the library that long.
Well, you have an hour.
That's very 2023 doing a Teams call while you're charging your car.
Yeah, and I don't know if you and Nick are connected on social media, but Nick they have both electric cars in their house. So
yes. We're full electric now, and solar panel, and
Oh wow,
save the planet a little bit.
Yeah, we don't have the weather in the UK for solar.
Yeah.
I mean, we do at the moment. We're quite warm here, but not.
Yeah, it's been weirdly warm, is what I've been reading, which is interesting, and it's been weirdly bizarre in Illinois too. Like we've been warmer than we normally are this time of year. I think you've had some of that too, Dwayne, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, now we're getting air quality issues. I don't know if you're
From
getting
Canada.
that from
it's from
Blame Canada
again, right?
Yeah. Canada's on fire, I guess.
It's like one of the
this year.
worst.
Last year it was our Pacific Northwest and all of that.
Seattle had all the.
Yeah, that's when everybody in the Pacific Northwest wound up getting air conditioning because they don't really have air conditioning. They're sort of like the UK. They don't really have very, very, really hot days, but because they they couldn't leave their windows open. The house got real stuffy. So I can't tell you how many of my former colleagues wound up getting air conditioning in the last year or two. Because even the year before that, in 2020, I think they had fires out that way too. So
Oh,
a couple of years of that, led a number of people to getting air conditioning for their homes.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
I put the allergen mode on and
Yeah.
because I saw people wearing masks yesterday.
Oh yeah, people were wearing masks at baseball games and all of that too. Yeah,
it's
and
like smoking, it's like crazy.
Yeah, I looked into into an addition. I was going to put solar panels when I did that, but we didn't end up doing the addition. And then the pandemic hit, and the price of everything went sky high.
That's when everyone started doing home projects.
I was trying, we were trying to get things, get me out of the basement so I can actually see light during the day. That's all ultimately be nice from an office perspective. So,
yeah, Nick hates being in the basement. Oh my god, too bad. Can't have two offices up here.
Dude, actually, I was noticing in our comments, we got some comments. We got some people here today. Casey Wood and Big Bold Azure guys here, and
nice.
I saw that.
Harish Raman is so we've got some people listening. So getting some viewership. So yeah, I mean everybody go out and subscribe to I Am IT Geek. Also to Connecting in the Clouds.
Stuff.
We have our own YouTube channel, and actually, let's see if we've got nobody commenting from Twitch. So we've got LinkedIn and YouTube. So, but
I'm just not cool enough for Twitch, I think.
I mean, you never know. So when I did my last role at Microsoft, we wound up getting a lot of interesting folks following us on Twitch. So that's why we started to do more on Twitch.
425 show, not the 420 show.
No, that was hilarious. So Amy called it the 420 show, and I'm like, I mean, no, it's the 425 show. But so even though
cloud.
Right, and then even though our org wound up getting a pretty significant reduction in force, they're still running the show. They're just not running it as often, I think. So it's still around, and the folks that were on my former team, they're trying to keep it alive. So
yeah,
I'm hopeful to see what
Patch and Switch own Twitch. So right,
right.
We can get a fifth of the viewership that they get on their shows probably.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's hard to grow things organically. So when Shabaz and I did our two, I wouldn't want to call them like multiple session videos on AVS and Azure Active Directory. We always, well, no, I take that back. I think it was just the Azure VMware Solution bit that we plugged on the IT Ops Talk blog. So you wound up getting quite a bit of extra folks paying attention to your channel. But again, it's hard unless you have that awesome opportunity to get it in front of a lot of different eyes, just because there's so many people who are creating content these days,
Well, hey, if you ever want to do more AVS, Shabaz, I'm here.
Yeah, so Amy has my old role.
Yeah.
So the funny story is I think we were both interviewing at the same time. I think, right? Wasn't that right?
Yeah, they're like, we like you both, but you were internal, so it was like an easier.
So it was an easier switch,
Shannon's
right?
awesome. Yeah.
And then I switched roles, and then her former boss was like, "Hey, what was her name again?" He's like, "I know I took it down, but I can't find my notes." And so I sent him all of her info, and the rest is history. So now she's doing all the
interview too, though, man.
Oh, that sucks.
I feel like obviously I've collaborated with Dwayne, collaborated with Shannon. I need to complete the trifecta.
Yeah, you do.
Connecting the Clouds trifecta. Yes.
Yes.
Do some content. That'll be fun.
Yeah, and the thing I love about Shabaz is like he just gets like a couple hour, like an hour or 2 hour block, and you record most of the videos, and it's funny because we're like, oh, this is the next week's video. We're still wearing the same clothes.
Yeah.
What's the weather like today? Oh, it's like it was last week. It's the same day.
Yeah.
That's okay. I keep wearing the shirt every week. So they're gonna
I wore it the first time. I need to like go and figure out. I think it's in the laundry right now because I did wear it out of bands.
For the first launch, and then now I get the never forget Clippy.
Clippy, don't forget Clippy. The original co-pilot.
Oh yeah. I love that he made a comeback. Everyone used to hate Clippy. Now he's beloved.
I never had a problem with Clippy.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was
He got in my
annoying.
way-
I
he
think
got
I
in my
changed it
way
to
sometimes.
Einstein all the time. Or
Yeah, he got in the way. He got in the way sometimes. Yeah, he did get in the way. But
yeah, I
all
would love
right,
to
well,
collaborate with the Shabazz. That'd be great.
Yeah, definitely.
we're getting
I will-
towards
I
the
will
top
reach
of the
out.
hour, and I know probably others have we have other things to do probably at the top of the hour. But yeah, Shabazz, you want anything that you want to share? Any like you said, maybe we've brought together your next content with Amy here doing some more
I think-
ABS, and we can look forward to that soon, maybe. But
there's a lot of things I would like to say. Unfortunately, I can't quite yet, so I'm going to tease that again. So
Yeah.
people need to
Yep.
keep an eye out for.
how about everybody keep we got Connecting in the Clouds, subscribe. We're doing this every couple of weeks. Our next week we've got the Head in the Clouds, Heart in the Community team of
wow.
Holly and Izzy, so that should be fun.
That'll be good. That'll
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, we're really looking
What a-
forward to that one.
What a cast that is! Excellent. Wow.
But excited to hear about your journey when you're able to tell us all.
Yeah, we'll bring
Yeah,
we'll bring you
connect
back. We'll bring you back when it's like maybe we'll do a big. Maybe let us know and we'll bring you back for a big
Big
announcement.
reveal.
So, the big reveal of what's happening, and
That sounds good.
his appointment to above a master, maybe
Maybe. Yes.
to king
Emperor,
king of
Emperor.
king
No, no,
IT
no.
geek.
It's going to be senior master. I always feel like they add like the senior
They
in
just
front of
add
it, and then it'll
principal
be
master.
principal master, right? Isn't that what comes next?
Senior master, and then
Fellow
principal
master.
If we're
Then
sticking
fellow,
if we're sticking to Star Wars canon, it'll be Emperor next.
There you go.
Emperor.
I love it. I
Emperor
love
IT
it.
geek.
I love it.
Emperor IT geek. That would be scary. Then you'll be in your dark cloak and
Yeah.
the IT geek, the Sith Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Turn to the dark
funny.
side. That'll be.
But
if
yeah,
I ever
thanks,
go towards
Shabazz.
If I ever go towards AWS, that'll be the dark side for me, I suppose.
Oh.
Oh,
Hey,
now I have
hey,
to know it in
all-
my role.
all
I,
right.
see, Dwayne and I have to know it in our roles.
I'm
and
speaking
so-
at Reinforce next week. Come on, Shabazz.
Yeah.
Actually
You know what's
speaking.
interesting is real quick how similar the two clouds have become, right? It really is the iPhone versus Android debate. AWS might be considered iPhone because it was around before Azure, but I mean they're basically the same cloud. I mean, the hard part for me is remembering the names of everything because I'll often get that's where I get tripped up. So I'm sure Dwayne has very similar stories where he's talking about something and he's using the wrong term. So
I do have a confession.
Exactly, and that's why I created that series of blogs on Captain Hyperscaler around that. When I was studying, I'm like, okay, let me take my Azure hat and combine it with the AWS hat, and how are the names different? So.
yeah, I convinced a couple of solution architects at Ahead start following you, Dwayne, as a direct result of that, because a lot of us Azure folks now have to know AWS because there's still a lot of AWS out there, right? And we have to talk to customers, and so I think I've turned on a couple of solution architects to the blog posts that you've done, and they're following you now on Twitter. So
Very good.
Cool.
And we've got Azure Back to School if they want to do a session. Azure Back to School coming back. Call for speakers
Nice.
is open. So special things. I think Call for Speakers has been open less than a month, and I think we've already got almost 20, almost over 20 sessions already tagged in there. So
That's great.
So very excited. Everybody's accepted as long as you give us a good abstract. I had somebody that just put their name in, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to go back to them to actually find out what they want to talk about. But it's not Connecting in the Clouds where we just talk about whatever comes to mind.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you again, Shabaz, and have a great rest of your day. And thanks as always, Amy and Shannon, for
of course
being the co-hosts with the most.
Happy Friday. Yeah.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Hopefully the air quality gets better.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to.
We are starting. It's to keep with the Star Wars theme, Shabazz. The sunsets, it looks like Tatooine, Tatooine suns.
It does.
It's like this bright red orb in the sky right now because of
Yeah.
the because of all the
Crazy.
haze. It's crazy.
Well, awesome.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. We're gonna
Thanks
take
for
this
having me.
to a close. So we'll see
Yeah.
everybody in a couple weeks.
Woohoo!
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.